Good evening. In this video I want to briefly take a look at some political issue here. One of the arguments about the Civil War, American Civil War, was the issue the people always bring up, neo-confederates always bring up, it was states' rights. States' rights. But we're saying it's the states. States can be as tyrannical as the federal government. The system of federalism is always set up as a check and balance between tyranny. The only person who has rights are individuals. Individuals have rights. Governments don't have rights. Governments have powers that are vested in them by individuals. But we see now the arbitrary, capricious nature of state governments who are extending these lockdowns without any input from the citizens. They're under total control of the health people. We didn't elect the health people. We elected governors and legislature people to uphold the American Constitution. And they are violating the Bill of Rights. All these lockdown laws, the purpose of lockdown was simple. Get ahead of the curve, get enough hospital beds, get enough ventilators for this peak that never came. Supposed to be 2 million dead, then it was 200,000 dead. Now it comes any dead, oh, we can't open up Texas because people are still dying from the virus. People are still dying from the virus. You're not going to stop people from dying. The idea was to make sure the hospital system wasn't going to be overwhelmed. Now, but governors are using this as an excuse to keep control of the people. So what would you say? State governments can be as abusive as the federal government. There's no check and balance on them. They're using an excuse. Health people, they say, no, it's not ready. In Texas here, we got supposed to be opened up by 18. Arbitrarily, he's picked out certain groups of people. You call them non-essential. I'll tell you who's non-essential: the government workers. Why aren't they on? Remember how they were squeezed when the government's closed down? Why aren't the government workers all laid off? They're not essential. Congress is still getting paid. But rights are not privileges. The Declaration of Independence says these are God-given rights. And every governor who's involved in this lockdown, every state should have opened immediately. The only one did it, Georgia. Should have opened immediately. And let individuals take whatever precautions they need to take. That's how a free people operate. In Trump's State of the Union address, he's talking about how great America is. It's a great speech, one of the greatest speeches probably ever made. State of the Union. We're going to Mars. We're bold people. We're adventurous people. Now what have we replaced that with? It's safer at home. We'll put that safer at home along with, remember the Alamo. Don't give up the ship. I've not yet begun to fight. Yeah, we'll put that up there. It's safer at home. But I want to put this video up quickly to show you. This is the shift, the fear tactics. Where the enemy use your virtue to destroy you with. Because people are concerned about the elderly, you protect them. But actually more damage is now being to the elderly because they're being isolated in nursing homes and such. Also, if the capitalist system collapses, who's the first ones to be hurt by it? The elderly. If the monetary system collapses, who's the first to get hurt by it? The elderly. So this is being used by people, wicked people on the left, and weak people, like my state governor Abbott, who should know better, who are too afraid to do the right thing and say, no, people are free. One girl up in South Dakota, she got it right, as far as I know. She said, I can't infringe on people's constitutional freedoms. But what we're seeing here is an attack on America. And you can't make up the damage that's going to be done, because the fact is businesses are being crushed. The small businesses are being crushed by arbitrary, capricious rules. And capitalism is based on things that they can count on. I'm almost sure Governor Abbott is not going to let the 18th be the last day. They won't let go of people because they're depending on the health experts. Health experts will never tell you you're ready. The country's ready to get back. And they're never going to let you get back to normal. There'll always be stay apart, wear a mask. But the point I want to make is that when you hear that nonsense, you guys say states' rights, it's not states' rights. It's individual rights. The federal system was created as a check and balance on each other to protect the individual. Protect the individual and his rights. And what we're seeing now, how capricious and arbitrary and tyrannical states can be in destroying people's lives. And really, the federal government should come in and stop it. The federal government needs to come in and stop all these arbitrary shutdowns of people's businesses as unconstitutional. None of this is constitutional. And you can't give up your freedoms for safety. And that's what they're trying to sell us on. Safety and safety and freedom. Safety and freedom, But you have to let the individual decide. That's why we had the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Which was crazy. We can't get anywhere. But just be safe. So I just want to put this up as a point, just to recognize what's going on here. We're seeing how wickedness operates. We're seeing the United States, it's going throughout the world, but of course the United States is the leader in these areas, being destroyed by ignoring its basic constitutional premises. And it's not being done by the federal government. They issued a thing, and Trump expanded it to the extra 14 days just to get ahead of the curve, and it was released April 30th. Every state should have been opened up. But the governors jumped on that as an excuse now to violate individual freedoms. Every one of these governors need to be impeached for violating individual rights. Governors from states are violating individual rights. There are no states' rights. So when people bring that up and said, well, that Civil War, that was a battle, the states' rights. States don't have rights. Individuals have rights. And those rights include the idea that your freedoms are not privileges. They're God-given. And because someone else might be endangered by something, it doesn't give the right to them to take away your freedoms and destroy your life. And that's what we're seeing now. That's what political motivated. They don't want the economy to recover in terms of the election. For most of these guys. Other people are just too weak, too scared to operate. In Republican states like Iowa, Ohio, and Texas, and some other areas have I think Massachusetts has a Republican governor. Those guys are just, too weak to operate, too terrified. So they turned their governorship. They promised to protect the Constitution. We didn't elect doctors. We elected governors to protect our rights, and legislatures to protect our rights, and the Supreme Court's supposed to protect our rights, and no one's doing it. Under the guise, well, we can't. People might die. That doesn't justify removing your right. You got to find a way to protect those people, but you need to free. It doesn't give you the right to enslave other people. And that's what these governors are doing. They're essentially enslaving millions of people, crushing them, destroying their life, destroying their hope, under this Orwellian phrase, safer at home. I said, we'll put that right up there with the remember the Alamo. Don't give up the ship. I'd rather fight, you know, I've just begun to fight. I think it was I've yet to begin to fight. John Paul Jones. That would go right up there with it. It's safer at home. You turn your country over to technocrats, bureaucrats, phony doctors. But they made sure the abortion clinics were staying open. That's one thing they made sure, didn't they? That was an essential. No, they were talking about essential. None of that, since the government workers were all essential. And so the abortion clinics. They have no problem with that. And they're releasing prisoners out of prison while they hold captive the American people. And who's doing it, people? It's not the federal government. It's the state governments. So then when people talk about the states' rights. Amen. Thank you.